like to introduce Nick Sutton. I'm Mark Jernigan. Oftentimes we're asked, can the IRS seize or take my house? It's a common question of many of our clients, and many of our older clients ask this question because they've got substantial equity in their primary residence. The IRS has the statutory authority to lien and levy. So, yes, the IRS can seize your assets, including your primary residence. But just because they can, doesn't mean they will. There's a practical side to how the IRS actually operates and how the IRS collects the money that's owed. The process to seize your primary residence requires several approvals. A group manager, an area manager, and then a federal district judge all must sign off on any seizure of a primary residence. A levy is a type of enforced collections action. Our representation provides the IRS an alternative collection option, allowing you to keep your house.
Case story would be, in fact, a taxpayer. We had a taxpayer and his spouse were ill. They were not compliant in filing their payment for over a decade. The taxpayer has had the same address for over 2 decades. The taxpayer were overwhelmed by the amount of correspondence the service had mailed to them and had since stopped opening their letters years ago. A revenue officer was assigned to the case and paid the taxpayer a visit at their residence. The revenue officer threatened the taxpayer that they would seize their primary residence and seize the baby grand piano too that he saw through the doorway. The taxpayer was distraught, to say the least. Was his family going to be homeless? The house was nearly paid off. That is when they called us. We got him compliant in his filings, protected his future earnings by establishing a corporate entity to formalize his self-employment income. We were attempting to set up a partial pay installment agreement to repay the nearly $300,000 owed. But the revenue officer miscalculated the collection information statement, thus resulting in showing the taxpayer had no ability to repay. The taxpayer is still a client 5 years later after he hired us, not only for his representation needs, but also for his bookkeeping, payroll, and tax preparation needs.